Hey guys, and welcome to the Hobby News. Alright, so this week we've got some squats and we've got some Necromunda. I'm sure most people have seen some of these already, but we're going to go through them anyway, so let's get into it. Put pedal to the metal aboard the rugged leagues of Votann, Siggitor or Saggitor or whatever it is, ATV. Basically a pretty cool off-road vehicle, I guess. But yeah, pretty interesting. It wasn't the direction I thought they'd go in with these, but at least not entirely. I mean, yeah, they are sort of, dwarves, mining, all that sort of thing, but I was expecting, I guess, I thought maybe they'd go a little bit more in a Tau-ish direction, like sort of more mobile mech suits and things like that, sort of more, I guess, maybe hover vehicles, things like that, like something a bit more, I guess, ultra sci-fi, but this is sort of going more in almost like a, I suppose, space exploration sort of human way of doing it, I guess, with some high-tech weaponry, I suppose. So something in that line of design, I suppose. I mean, they might end up with a whole bunch more really ultra high-tech vehicles and so on that we don't know about, but it seems as though it's probably going to go in this direction, this sort of more mining kind of thing, which I guess is really, sort of, goes well with dwarves and all that. So yeah, I'm not sad about it, but it is just an interesting design choice that I wasn't expecting exactly. So yeah, I don't know what anyone else thinks about that, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's take a look. So yeah, we've got these sort of buggy vehicles, and I'm not sure how big this is, but I guess it's something maybe close to a rhino size, I suppose, maybe a bit smaller. I'm not quite sure. We can see a little squad in there, one of these Votann guys in the cockpit there. So yeah, let's say, I don't know, maybe the size of a, maybe the size of a rhino, or maybe in length, but maybe not in width. I don't know. It's yeah, it's relatively big, I suppose. But yeah, interesting. It's basically like a little gun platform. You're going to get a variety of different guns. I guess this is kind of a bit like a Razorback without the transport option, right? So you've got sort of like small vehicles that have these weapons, and I'm assuming you'd be able to get these, maybe they're 1 to 3 or something like that in a unit, something along those lines. Yeah, it feels like, but maybe not. Maybe they're just singular. But you got some guns in the front as well, so it's relatively decked out with weapons, and some of the different choices you get seem interesting. It does feel in line with something like Guard or most Imperial sort of vehicle choices. There's nothing too fancy here, although there are maybe some unusual weapons on it, but I don't see anything too like crazy looking. I'm interested to see where I guess the hinted at sort of dark age technology is, like where their real like super stuff is that's in this. I guess that's meant to be part of their sort of repertoire of weapons. I want to see some of that. So this all feels pretty standard sort of Imperial weaponry and so on, but it's still cool. Like I like it a lot, and I like this sort of clouded glass on here. I'm assuming that comes with that's like the way that plastic is done, but it's nice. It's a little bit, rather than it being see-through and sort of glossy, it's got this sort of, I guess, sort of low sheen or matte finish to it, which is nice. That sort of helps, I guess, mask the sort of toyish nature of those sort of canopies. They can be a bit tricky sometimes when you're painting them to make them fit in, but if that's how the plastic comes, that's pretty good. That fits in nicely with the paint job, so that's cool. But let's see what they say about it. So what's this? The Siractrix, I don't know, Maledictum, that shattered the galaxy, has even harmed the mighty leagues of Votann. With holds swallowed up and trade routes severed, the kin have been forced to establish new footholds beyond the galactic core, sending forth expeditions of brave Hearthkin warriors, exo-armored Enhir, Hearthguard, and redoubtable vehicles like the Saggitor, I guess is how you say it. Yeah, so cool. Designed for surveying. Okay, so this is, that's basically the sort of design road they're going. They're sort of like expedition kind of, I guess what human beings would eventually, I mean, we almost have these types of vehicles and these types of things in our world, and I guess they're just extrapolating on that with a bunch of sci-fi tech added onto it, like what we would probably end up becoming, a la something like Aliens or those sorts of sci-fi universes. You're getting that kind of vibe, and that's cool. I can't wait to see what else they have. Hopefully some flying units and things like that. That'd be really nice. But yeah, look, I like it. It's cool. cool. So let's see what else they say about it. So yeah, these Sagitors usually operate in pairs. Okay, yep. So, you know, a little 2-man unit. They're remarkably heavily armoured for their size, with a nose-mounted twin-bolt cannon, complemented by a swivelling turret weapon, such as a high-las beam cannon, L7 missile launcher, or MATR, autocannon, or MATA, I guess, autocannon. So yeah, they've got like some pretty cool options there. Yeah, as I said, something like a Razorback without the transport capability, I guess, a little bit smaller, or like a large attack bike or something like that. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So you're going to get this sort of, I guess like expedition force kind of look to it, you know, coming down onto a planet, you know, doing all those sorts of things that dwarves like to do, looking for treasure. You know, you've got the pickaxe in the back there, you've got all the little bits and pieces. Yeah, lots of fun, I think. I think they got a lot of cool flavor, and, you know, I can see some really fun paint jobs on these. It's definitely begging for things like weathering, like they've got here, oil washes, that sort of thing, lots of the sort of oil stains and drip marks and so on. All of that sort of weathering, I think, would go well on these. Generally, you know, the look and vibe of them feels like that's a technique that would work really well. And I'm sure lots of like modelers and so on that end up getting into this will do those sorts of techniques on them. I can see a lot of grimdark styles being used on these. Yeah, seems pretty good. And then we've got the little cockpit here with the dwarven, pilot. We've got the female and the male, which is nice. Yeah, I like it. You got the goggles on and everything like that. The sort of classic, I guess this is the one in the bottom right here is sort of the classic idea of what the dwarf pilot would look like. And then you got the variations. So that's cool. Yeah, all in all, a really fun vehicle. And I think, it's going to be interesting. So they're going in this sort of vein for the vehicles. I'm interested to see what the land train is going to look like, as you know, lots of rumors have said that's a thing. So we'll see what that looks like, but I'm guessing a huge version of this, some sort of giant truck-like thing on wheels or tracks with this sort of cockpit design, these big rounded forms, and a larger version. I'm assuming something like that exists in the repertoire for these squats. Yeah, that'll be cool. You know, it'd be really fun if they end up doing a big truck-like thing like that, to have the back open up with a flatbed, so you've got like a gun turret, you know, similarly to old Optimus Prime back in the day, for anyone that knows about Transformers, you know, the 80s style, you know, with the back piece, that toy that you had, and it folded out and you had the little flying dude in there. I can't remember what the name is now, but anyway, it was sort of like a little gun turret thing, or a little flyer that would come out the back. I've forgotten the name. Someone can tell me what that name was of that little robot or transformer, but that would be kind of cool, right? So invoking some of those Transformer vibes and having a back piece that opens up, even have it so that it's designed that way, so the sides of the truck fold down and you get like you have an interior inside. That'd be super fun if they do something like that. I mean, that's going to be a real winner, right? Because I mean, these squats are looking to market towards the older crowd, you know, the ones that remember squats. That's what all this is about, that retroism, you know. And what better way to do that than to invoke Optimus and get some Transformers on the table. So I kind of feel like that'd be a fun one to have, like on this sort of land train thing, to have, you know, the back open up like that. That'd be really cool. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If they're thinking in those veins, then maybe we'll get a vehicle like that with some kind of interior and platform or gun platform. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, let's move on. We'll go on to some Necromunda now. And these two characters they've got here are really fun, and definitely, you know, continuing in the line of really interesting, you know, models for these sub games that are just going to be fun to paint. I don't know how well they're going to go in the game, but they just look really cool, and at least one of them has caught my eye, which I'm very tempted to buy and paint for the channel, because it's just got some good possibilities there for paint schemes and so on. So we'll come and have a look at this. So the Gorvos Crime Syndicate enter the Underhive with what's this? Inimitable, okay, style, yep, okay, lots of gunk bombs, okay, cool. I get so tongue twisted with these you know, titles and so on. There's so many unique words that GW like to put into their games, and it always catches me like all the time. Sorry if I'm stuttering over it, but anyway, so yeah, these two. Now this here is what's caught my eye. So this little cavalier character here with this alien on the shoulder. If anyone doesn't know, I'm a fan of pet classes in games, and anything that has a little familiar or a little a little side buddy or a little animal, something like that. They're always really interesting to me because there's always great interplay between those two characters. In terms of the sculpt, the design, how they interact, and in game as well. You always get like usually fun rules, and here we're seeing it here on the shoulder. What a cute little thing, and a great paint job. Like, this is a really nice alien paint job. So you've got those bright blues going into purples and pinks. Very much a color scheme that I would choose for something like this. It's got a lot of just cool vibes to it, right? Like, it feels that sort of classic sci-fi alien thing, but a little unique. There's some interesting color shifting going on there on the top and underneath. They give it its own flavor and unique style. And the look of the sculpt here of this guy is just great, right? He's got the classic sort of aloof sort of look on his face. Everything is great about this model. I really can't say anything wrong about it. It's just, it brings a smile to my face. And then we've got a more classic ganger style pose and design here with the counterpart. I'm assuming these are both crime bosses or whatever. But this is the more classic sort of, I guess, Necromunda thing that you'd expect to see. Not that it's a bad thing, but obviously he takes the cake over here. What's his name? I'll see if I can find his name here. So I get Gorvis, I guess, is the name of this one. But yeah, really, really fun model. We'll see if we get some close-ups. Yeah, so it even comes around. You get that nice wrap around with the tail. A lot of animation and character in here. For such a small area or sculpt. You've got a ton of character here. We've got the three eyes, dipping down into the jawline here. Just a beautiful little motif on this model that I think will be really fun to paint. I'm sure the painter that painted this had a lot of fun doing that. The little markings down the spine. Yeah, so interesting to get this type of sculpt in a sub game like this. As I've said, there's always little nuggets of gold in these sub games that are just waiting to be mined. Right, this is just really great. And then we've got some details for the second one here. Again, look, interestingly, they're going into a lot more, I guess, battle worn sort of look for some of this. I've noticed that recently. More and more of the paint jobs are going towards this sort of, I guess, more grimdark sort of aesthetic with a lot of scratches and so on. It just in some of these sub-game ones, I've noticed that, and here we're getting it again. They're sort of going to town on the rust and so on, and really playing around with all of that, which is nice. So a little different style for GW than what they normally would do for these. Really fun. So we've got like the usual accessories, the guns, the chainsaw there, I guess, or is that a power weapon? Something like that. But yeah, really, this is the fun one, right? I can't get enough of this. I love this color. I'd like to try my hand at some of this. So they're going from a blue into this sort of lavender purple and up into almost like a peach pink. It's got that sort of little bit of orange and red in that pink. Really interesting, that little blend there. That's really nice. All in all, really, really fun. I can't wait for these to come out. I'm going to paint this, I think, because that alien's really caught my eye. I won't waffle on about it any longer, but, if you're into pet classes, this is definitely a fun one. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit the like button, subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I guess I'll catch you on the next one.